Sleep training is one of the most searched topics in baby sleep, and also one of the most misunderstood. Today, we're talking about something most videos skip, not how to sleep train, but whether you and your baby are actually ready to. If your current sleep setup is working for your family, this video is not telling you to change it. Sleep training is a tool, it's not a requirement. And if you attempt it before you or your baby are ready, it's unlikely to work well, and it can leave everyone a lot more exhausted than before. Sleep training is a choice. It's not an obligation. Let's clear something up first. There is no clinical requirement that says every baby has to be sleep trained by a certain age. Research on infant sleep generally shows it can be effective for families who choose it, but the research does not say it's necessary for healthy development. If you're co-sleeping, contact napping, feeding to sleep, or doing whatever gets everyone through the night, and your baby is healthy, growing, your family is functioning, you do not need to change a thing just because some outside pressure. The goal is a sleep arrangement that works for your household, not one that matches whatever worked for your neighbor or your sister-in-law or a sleep guru on Instagram. Here's the part that gets left out of most sleep training content. The method actually matters less than the timing. A well-chosen method attempted at the wrong time, physically, developmentally, emotionally, tends to fail. Not because the method is flawed, but because the conditions weren't there yet. This is why some parents try sleep training, feel like it didn't work, and give up feeling defeated. In many cases, the issue was not the approach, it was starting before the family was actually ready. The questions to ask about your baby's readiness include: is your baby old enough for their sleep patterns to consolidate? Most infant sleep specialists point to somewhere between 4 to 6 months as the earliest window where circadian rhythm and melatonin production begin to actually mature enough for longer sleep stretches to actually be biologically realistic. Has your pediatrician cleared night weaning, if that actually applies? If your plan involves reducing night feeds, this should be a conversation with your baby's medical provider first, especially if there are any weight or feeding concerns. Is your baby generally healthy right now? Teething, illness, a recent vaccination, or developmental leap are all reasons to pause. Sleep training during a rough patch usually leads to more crying, less progress. Does your baby have a fairly predictable daytime rhythm already? A baby whose naps and feeds are all over the place usually needs a more stable daytime foundation before nighttime changes will actually stick. An overtired baby doesn't sleep well. Here's some questions to ask about your own readiness, because baby readiness is only half of it. Your own readiness matters just as much. Do you feel emotionally steady enough to stay consistent? Sleep training methods work through consistency. If you are not in a place where you can follow through on the plan that you choose for several nights in a row, it is worth waiting until you are. Are you and your partner or support system aligned? Mixed signals at night, one person responding one way and another is responding in a completely different way, just confuses the process and slows things down. If you have a partner or a caregiver sharing in those night duties, get on the same page before you start. Do you have a realistic picture of what the first few nights might look like? Most methods involve some amount of protest crying before things improve gradually. Knowing this ahead of time, rather than being caught off guard, makes a real difference in whether parents actually stick with a plan or abandon it on night 2. Is this a low stress week, relatively speaking? Starting during a big move, a return to work, travel, a family crisis, stacks stress on stress. Choosing to calm or stretch sets everyone up for a better outcome, and it makes it much easier to be consistent. Now, if you have gone through those questions and feel ready, here is how to set yourself up well. Pick one method and commit to it. Research the options, Choose the one that fits your family's temperament and values, and give it a real chance before switching to something else. If you're confused on what those options are, I have other videos on this channel that talk through them. Also, talk to your pediatrician if there's anything that feels uncertain. This is especially important around night weakening, reflux, or any existing health concerns. It's also good to track the patterns before you start, knowing your baby's current nap times, wake windows, typical night wakings gives you a baseline to compare against so that you can actually tell if something is improving instead of completely guessing. This is actually one of the reasons I built the app Latched. It gives you the ability to log feeds, naps, wake ups. It shows you the patterns behind the chaos so you're not starting a sleep plan completely blind. There is also a decision guide inside, helped by me, a nurse practitioner, IBCLC, walking through exactly the kind of readiness questions we just covered. Give yourself permission to pause. If night 3 feels wrong for your gut or your baby's health, it is okay to stop and revisit later. Readiness is not all or nothing, and it is not permanent. A no right now can become a yes in a few weeks. There is no universal deadline for sleep training, and there's no version of parenting where every family has to do the same way. If your setup is working, you are not behind. And if you are ready to make a change, doing it with a clear picture of your baby's readiness and your own will get you a lot further than jumping in just because of pressure or a deadline that was never really there.